Oh my gosh, there's a truck driver shortage. That's why we can't get our stuff. That's why the things are running low, because there's a truck driver shortage. Well, that's not exactly true. And I'm fixing to tell you the inside scoop on that.
You want answers?
I think I'm entitled.
You want answers?
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth!
Well, welcome back to another episode of Front Porch Friday, folks. Hope the week has treated you well. Hope you have a great weekend planned. Uh-oh. Last of my coffee. Uh-oh. Come on. I'll make more next time, I guess. So anyway. Oh, there's a truck driver shortage. There's ships, cargo container ships stacking up off the coast of LA and Long Beach because we just ain't got enough truck drivers. What are we going to do? Again, you're being lied to. Some of it's intentionally, some of it's not so intentionally. Is there a shortage of truck drivers? Not really. There's plenty of truck drivers out there. But the bottleneck in the supply chain is not because there's no truck drivers. There's plenty of truck drivers. The problem is truck driver retention. A lot of people who have CDL license are leaving the business for mainly two reasons. One of two reasons, or two reasons. One is money, and the other is home time. That's why most people leave the business. I don't know if you've ever been in the trucking business, but you have. You know these things. Okay, the reason, the bottleneck in is totally different from that. I mean, we got people to deliver freight. We still got people to deliver the freight. It's just easier to say that there's a truck driver shortage than to deal with the 1,100-pound gorilla in the room. Yes, demand has increased since the pandemic is over or ending. But, you know, they say, well, that's what caused the demand. People stayed home, they ordered more. Well, that's fine, but they've ordered more in the past than we were able to deal with it. What this is doing is highlighting those areas that have always been a problem. Now it's a little bit worse, and so those areas that have been a problem, they're beginning to come out. Trucking companies don't want to do what it takes to retain truck drivers. Yeah, they all say we love every one of them. You see, we love our drivers. You can make 70, 80,000 a year, and oh, we love them. Well, here's the problem, and most of them are doing a good job of getting you home every weekend, which truck drivers should be good enough. I mean, you don't go into truck driving to make money or anything else. You go in because you love what you do, and if you're going in to make money, well, that's on you. That's your fault. But you got companies out there that will make you deadhead. Say you got a deadhead 2 hours to get a trailer or pick up a load or whatever. Most companies aren't going to pay you for that 2 hours. So that 2 hours is on you, and it goes against your clock. Truck drivers are allowed to drive 11 hours a day, and that has to be split. You can't drive more than 8 hours without a 30-minute break. You can't stay more than 14 hours on duty. So there's regulations that affect these truck drivers and affect their clocks. And you know, that's the gist of it. There's a little bit more details than that, but generally speaking, that's the thing. Well, you got, the other day, talking to one, he'd spent 7 hours at a receiver. He got unloaded the first 2 hours. But it took them another 5 hours to get his paperwork so he could leave. What is up with that? Just somebody dragging their feet. And the receiver, they could care less. They got their stuff. They don't care if the driver gets out of there. That's one of the bottlenecks. The receivers are probably, they're down the list, but they're the cause of this. But the people, crap like that is why drivers leave the business. Now, some will pay you retention, most after a certain amount of time, which is usually around 2 hours. Again, you got a couple hours, you don't get paid. Truck drivers do not get paid for all their time that they work. Now, if you went into work and your boss said, you know what, go ahead and start work, but we're not going to pay you the first 2 hours, what would you do? I know what most of you would do. You'd tell them, yeah, you're number one, and walk out the door. Well, that's kind of what the truck drivers are doing. They're getting tired of not getting paid for all their work, and they're going to find other lines of work. But the biggest, what I'm hearing from drivers who are delivering out of the ports is basically the union. And anybody who's worked with around the union knows that you got a certain amount of rules. Well, they won't do this. Oh, it would only take them 5 minutes, but we're going to be hung up for 5 hours because that's not our job. Someone else does that. But we just need to move it 20 feet out. Nope, that's not our job. We got to wait for somebody else who is their job to move that. When you bring a container, well, when you pick up a container, you need a chassis to put that container on, okay? And any of y'all been around those chassis know it's like almost like finding a needle in a haystack to find a chassis that is in good condition and everything works on it. Once again, as a truck driver, you just can't pull anything down the road. Brakes got to work right, lights got to work, can't have no cracks, all this, 101 yards. Well, finding a container chassis can be challenging. Okay, that's the first one. Second one, when you bring it back empty, you may sit there for forever and a day because they're in no hurry to get that container off that chassis so that chassis can be used again. So you got that back up. And as one was telling me, I was talking, he said, I'm sitting there and they just start unloading my can container and they stop. What'd you stop for? Break time. We gotta go on break. He said, so I sat there, or lunch, it was lunch, an hour, and it takes them 30 minutes more after they get back to get that container off me. Hour and a half. Because no one else replaced them. Even though they could have. There was other people there who could, but it wasn't their job. Then he tells me, especially out of the LA port, after about 2 o'clock nobody wants to leave because you're dealing with the traffic. But, you know, if they're union, that should be their job to take the thing, whether it's, no, again, you got the union rules. We don't, you know, it's in our contract. Okay, whatever. But you want to know where the bottleneck is? That's your bottleneck. They're in the receivers. Because there's plenty of truck drivers that can move that freight any place in this continent you want it moved to. So, look at this as a warning. First off, when you hear, oh, it's just truck, there's not enough truck drivers. There is plenty of truck drivers to move freight. But the bottlenecks at the port themselves, because of stupid union rules, and at the not all receivers drag their feet, getting their drivers out, but a lot of them do. But it's also the trucking companies. They could retain more drivers if we started getting paid for our time. Another thing, like especially like produce and stuff like that, going to big distribution centers, big box stores and stuff, you get an appointment and you have to be there by that appointment. If you're late, you can get fined. But if they're late unloading you, oh well, They want you checking in by a certain time. A lot of times you cannot check in early. A lot of times you cannot get unloaded early. If it says 2 o'clock, 2 a.m. in the morning, you're supposed to be ready to unload at 2 a.m. in the morning. If you get there a day ahead, sorry, you're a day early. Go wait. Wait time you don't get paid for most generally. You did your job, you got it there safe, you got it there early. Go wait. We ain't gonna pay you for waiting, but go wait. If you get there 30 minutes late, well, sorry, you're late, and it's gonna cost you. And what needs to happen is it needs to start costing the receiver. Lumpers. Some places you gotta pay people to unload your truck. What the hell is that all about? A receiver should have their own employees unloading the truck. Truck driver's job is to get the stuff there, get the freight there. The receiver is going to them, they're benefiting, they should have people to unload it. And a lot of them do, but a lot of them don't. Especially produce and meat and stuff like that. Nobody wants to pay an employee to unload a truck. But they expect the truck driver to unload it himself, or 80,000 pounds of freight out of a 53-foot trailer, or pay somebody to do it. Is that not messed up or what? That's the truth. This is why people are leaving the trucking industry. Crap like that right there. So if you want to blame somebody for you not, and let this be a warning. This is almost 1st November. If you haven't got your stuff for Christmas and it's going to be a Chinese made something and you can get it, or it has to be shipped in, you better be forgetting it. You better be stocking up on your essentials, your foods, your water, dog food. And I tell my daughter, she got 2 dogs, you better have 2 to 3 months supply of dog food coming up at all times, or you may find yourself with 2 hungry dogs. This thing isn't getting any better. It's getting worse, and it's not likely to get better for quite a while. So just, so when you hear the media or some politicians say, oh, it's it's because we don't have enough truck drivers, you know that they're blowing smoke intentionally, or they're ignorant and they don't know no better. It's what everybody else is regurgitating, putting out there, so they're going to do it. But it's not the truck drivers, not lack of truck drivers. Yeah, we could have a few more, but we're going to open the ports 24 hours a day. Doesn't matter if you can't get the damn trucks loaded, get the empties off, and then get another one on there and get them back out and get them turned around quickly. It doesn't matter if you're open 40 hours a day. And now they can't even agree to open them 24 hours. There again, the union is causing a backup. And everybody's worked with a union like that knows it can be one of the most frustrating things is their stupid rules. And then they're like a mini government. You dealt with a government, there you go. Sometimes it's even worse. So your backups are at the port, and to a lesser extent at the receivers. Ain't truck driver. So anyway, I just wanted to give y'all that update, and just to really warn you, it's not going to get better, and you better have your basic foods stored up. Be prepared, because it could be a little rough ride before all this gets straightened out. I could talk about the political side of it, but I'm not. That's just as messed up as the ports are. So, I mean, as currently, I heard yesterday, I think, or day before, there's 100 container ships sitting off the coast of LA waiting to get unloaded. We could divert those to other ports. No, that would be getting into the political part of it. Let's just say we could get those unloaded other places pretty quick. And let me tell you, people say, well, we just need to build factories here and build this stuff here. That's all well and fine. Where the hell are you going to get people to work, though? You can build all the factories you want to. But if you ain't got the people to work, well, you just need to pay them more. That still won't work. I mean, in our area, fast food places are paying $15 to $20 an hour now. And I live in a podunk area. Some of the really outlying areas are still around 12, 13 bucks an hour. You still can't find people to work. Everybody from fast food to manufacturing is begging for workers. Can't find them. So yeah, we could build all this semiconductor. And the other thing adding to this, that's going to add to this, is truck parts. If it's a computerized truck part, 3 to 5 months. So you got newer trucks sitting, waiting on basic little parts. Can't get them. So that's just going to make this whole thing even worse. It's still not the trucker's fault. Still plenty of trucks out there to move the freight and everything. But eventually that will be added into the mix, and then it's going to get really bad. Because you got, you know, people who bought brand new tractors, trucks, and then something with the filter, you know, the DPF, DEF filters or something goes wrong. They're waiting 3 to 5 months for parts because it takes that long to get them now. Build all the factories here you want. You can't get people to work. And so that all that's coming together to be a hell of a perfect storm. And I really think it's already causing inflation to go up, and it's going to wreak havoc on our economy. And, you know, I am so tempted to say, had this happened 2 years ago, or even 3 years ago, there would be a different outcome. The man at the top would have those ships unloaded. I guarantee you would. That's all I'm going to say about that. Anyway, folks, have a great weekend. I hope you had a great week, and I've got to get out. Beautiful day. I think I'm going to go deer hunting this afternoon. Just one of those afternoons. So thank y'all for watching. Have a great weekend. Hope you had a great week. Donald One Acre Homesteader. I'm out of here.